Hey guys, Mel here. This is the real deal going live. Don't worry about what was below. I wanted to jump on and have a chat about the gift of adversity because I just had an incident in my life that was absolutely amazing. And it kind of focuses around on a lot of challenges that people are having at the moment. And I know it's not an easy time in the world. There's so many troughs, there's so many lows, but I really want to talk to you about the highs that can come from it because this is the quantum thrive on way to live. It's the way I live. And I had a beautiful chat and session with the Shifts Happen group this morning, and we were working on polarity and duality, dark and light, and how dark and light actually come from the one same force, and how we can use darkness for an incredible springboard into light when we want to unify those polarities and recognize that they are actually all from the one prime creator. Because the thing is, things go wrong in our life and we normally judge it, we don't like it, and whatever we resist persists. And as soon as we become a victim to something, incredible quantum creators that we are, the quantum law of so within, so without means that we're resonating in the frequency and the belief of that, the associating emotions, and we end up showing up, co-generating, and attracting more of exactly what we're holding a strong emotional frequency about. And resistance and not liking something is a massively strong emotional resistance that doesn't get us free from it. It actually just keeps sentencing us to even more of it. Hi, Dee. Lovely to see you. Hi, Kate. I haven't been on for a little while, and it's awesome to connect with you, beautiful ladies, live again. And yeah, like the lesson that I did this morning in Shifts Happen, I wanted it to bring it out, or pieces of it out anyway, into the greater community, because whenever I'm setting up Shifts Happen groups, it's quite incredible how the lessons always are so much about my own journey and ascending out of darkness into light, but it's also really pivotal for other people as well. It's like we're kind of in sync. There's this crazy synchronicity going on that's so beautiful. Well, anyway, this session of polarity, darkness and light, how to integrate it into a way that gives us ascension, upshift, more joy, more purpose, more fulfillment, and more success and love in our life was really pivotal for me because I'd just been to Melbourne. I went for a family wedding, and my partner and I, we got very, very sick. We were in a confined space with 170 other people celebrating a reception, and lots of dancing and singing and talking and eating and sharing buffet and all that kind of stuff. We ended up very, very sick coming home to Melbourne, and people in Melbourne who've been getting this bug, whatever it is, some of them have been taken out for 3 weeks, like not even being able to function and operate. And I'm like, no, 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 this is not my life. Fortunately, my partner and I are very much of the same frame of mind. So anyway, we did all sorts of things, vitamin C, and well, I'm not going to talk about treatments here, but we just did all sorts of natural things that we always do when we get sick to improve our own ability to get well. And it's worked amazingly well. But there was another really big thing in this. I do quantum freedom healing shifts on myself religiously. I've lived my life that way for years in regard to anything in my life that's not working because of quantum law and going quantum in my life. I realize that whether it's something within or without that's not working, that's stuck, blocked, problematic, painful, distressing, and including health issues, that what I always do is I use quantum freedom healing to target the trauma in my body, generating that problem, and I pick up the trauma cellularly, and I release it in the quantum freedom healing process. And I replace it with higher self light, which is true source prime creator, which is the light that is literally the opposite in the metaphor of darkness and light. Darkness being pain, fear, suffering, and the light being well-being, expansion, unity, consciousness, thriving, so that the stuff goes and the light replaces it, and I get an instant shift, which upshifts me into something greater than what I was in that old self with that trauma. Now, this path is always about radical personal responsibility. It's about the law of one, which is there is nothing in my experience that I can experience unless there's a part of myself that matches it. And it doesn't mean it's my fault. It just means that as a human banging around having a human experience, I have accumulated traumas and false beliefs and toxins from my environment, my upbringing, my programming, my past lives, you know, my forebears, definitely my parents, because none of our parents were perfect. And this stuff that is an emotional decision within myself of that's true has now wedged there from somewhere along the ages. And now I'm getting the matching pattern in my life, whether it be the people I love me, invalidate me, leave me, hurt me, narcissism, whatever it is. But also too, it's the complete and utter premise of I can't have an illness in my life unless there's some part of me that's not well. In other words, an emotional program. So fortunately, I'm all snotty and coughing and feeling like garbage, and I'm in bed and I'm like, I have to do a healing on this. So I did healings on this the way I always do the healings, which is I'm going to target the trauma generating that. I use the Source Healing and Resolution module on it. And I've been using the speedy version of that for a long time. So anyway, that's without analysis, asking my body to show where the first trauma is, loading it up and loading it up. And what it opened up was this huge, big whoop-ass can of deep-seated shame. And, you know, the human experience is about shame. The shame where we think we're wrong, we're defective, we're not good enough, we're this, we're that. And because we're all ascending, planet Earth is cleansing, we're cleansing of the shadows, so much shame is coming up for people wholesale. So this big shame came up and I loaded it up and I cleared it. And, you know, whether it's that plus the remedies I'm taking and the things I'm doing, and the next day I'd turned a huge corner in my healing of whatever this is. You can probably still heal it. It's just that I'm on the last bits of it. But what happened as a result of that was I knew that I'd had a massive upshift within myself, like a really huge change in vibration. And I noticed it massively when I was doing my healing class, my Shifts Happen group this morning. I've noticed it in my life. I've noticed that things where I used to feel a little bit insecure, a little bit afraid, and these things are pesky because we think they're our normal. You know, we're doing our normal, our self, whatever that present self is. And we can have things loitering around there that just seem like it's just normal life because that's our normal vibration. And it's so interesting that when it leaves and we get the upshift into the next ascension part of ourselves, that we notice where we were as the old self and where we are now as the new self. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that, well, first of all, I understand that everything is happening for us and not to us. And as painful or annoying it can be, waking up in the middle of the night, coughing up phlegm, vomiting up phlegm because you're coughing so much, that's a moment in time. And that moment in time, I always knew, well, first of all, I always believe with our health that when we upgrade with something, we have the opportunity to become even more resilient and more healthy and more powerful. And it gives us even more of an opportunity to lean into doing all the things for ourselves that are so amazing for our bodies to do what they're designed to do, which is to keep us healthy. So that's a journey I've been on for a long, long time. And I know the steps to take, and I took them, and the results have been amazing. But it's also, for me, it's always an amazing call to be able to target something, load it up, let it go, and bring in the light to replace it. Whether it's an accident where I might twist an ankle, why did that come into my experience? Why did I get this flu? Why did I have that altercation with that person, that angel in disguise? I call them aides, posing as an absolute twat or nasty person. Why did that experience happen to trigger something in me? Because it's giving me the ability to become more of a badass, ascended, sovereign, empowered, healthy, expanded, excited being. So it's all catalytic. And this is absolutely the story about duality, and being able to unite duality into unity consciousness is to understand that there's nothing bad, even though, of course, it can seem so bad. It's all for us. So, for example, you could have, and we all have in narcissistic abuse, you could have that most disgusting person that you loved and you granted your trust to, who has betrayed you to such a level of shock and destroyed, what you thought was your life, because they weren't real, they weren't telling the truth. They weren't in it for the reasons you were in it, and they weren't even who you thought they were. And that seems like such a shock and a tragedy and a disgrace and so disgusting. It's the bad, it's the dark. But what's the gift in it? And we've been through it, and I've been through it hugely, nearly to my death years ago, which is why I do what I do. But what's the gift in it? The gift in is to heal and release our old self. And our old self was that person that handed power away, that gave our soul to somebody who didn't listen to our intuition, didn't lay boundaries, didn't believe we were good enough to be able to generate a life without that person, who was stuck in codependency and was absolutely on a trajectory of being exploited and mined by people who did not have our best interests at heart, who were using us and harvesting us for their own benefit. We weren't sovereign. So even though this looks like it's the destroyer of our life, it's actually the grantor of our life. And the law of one and polarity brings us back to the understanding that it's all from Prime Creator. And the darkness and the light are actually coming from the same source, which is love and which is upshift in our growth. And I love the metaphors that are everywhere in nature, which come directly from Prime Creator. And my favorite metaphor, of course, is the butterfly that was stuck in a dark, sticky, suffocating, claustrophobic prison, a cocoon, and comes out as a majestic butterfly. And we have the diamond that was in the fiery depths of a dark cavern. And we have the pearl that was in the dark, gritty, uncomfortable, abrasive shell. So the evidence is there everywhere for us in nature that our greatest gold Our greatest light gets mined from our greatest darkness. And after living my life like this as a thriver and a quantum practitioner, a thriver, for nearly 20 years, it never gets old for me. The joy of this, it never gets old. So this latest bout of darkness, you know, a really heavy flu is pretty dark. It feels like so bad, as you know. But having come out of it and coming out of it and having the opportunity to target whatever was holding it in place and generating it and attracting it, which is my job, to find that stuff and let it go and replace it with prime creator source light, there was a whole lot of icky, yucky shame in there that got to go. So that was why I wanted to come on today, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it, and I wanted to inspire you. And you can probably see, like, I'm kind of not really looking like a supermodel at the moment. Like, you know, I'm still a little bit heavy in recovery. But that's kind of it. That's what I wanted to share, and I just wanted to talk about and just give you some mindset perspective to be able to have this radical shift out of separation consciousness, which we're all battling at the moment. The whole planet's in this battle of separation consciousness, is about getting sucked into the bad and focusing on the bad and putting energy into the bad and fueling the bad and creating this huge division between ourselves, each other, and our ability to be able to be the alchemist of darkness into light. Because that alchemy, when we do it within ourselves, we don't jump on the bandwagons and bashing the bad. We let go of the bad within us. We bring in the light within us, and we step up into wisdom and inspiration and power and truth to be able to assist others to be able to do the same. And if we all did that, can you imagine how amazing our world would be? If we came from integrity and authenticity and broke out of the victimization and the handing narcissists the power to victimize us with by upshifting beyond all of that. Because this is the thing, you know, and the New Age movement hasn't done any favors to that. Because the New Age movement has so been about, let's just keep our trauma inside. We won't do the inner work. We'll just do namaste and love and light, and we'll just bless everybody. But we're never going to do the heavy shifting or the heavy lifting of our shadows. And then people are still getting shit on by narcissistic people out there that target New Age people trying to be love and light, because their inner programs are still unconsciously choosing those people and collaborating and being a victim to them, because our unconscious, unhealed stuff of shame and the people I love hurt me and betray me and the deep traumas, they make us heat-seeking missiles for more of the same. Not because we're bad or we deserve it, or we're victim shaming, not at all. It's just energetic law that whatever we have as the emotional resonance on any topic in our life is exactly the subconscious program that is going to play out to the T with our outer environment, because all of it's one. Our inner universe is our outer universe. So our waking up out of duality and polarity, of judging the bad, means you've just sentenced yourself to more of it. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to bring in the light to alchemize it. I'm going to get my upshift out of this into more integrity, more love, more power, more truth, more authenticity. And that doesn't mean that you're a puff cake that rolls over and says, well, I'm just going to love and light you and you're going to treat me beautifully. That is not how the law of one works, or quantum law. Quantum law means that you become a self-loving individual who can hear your higher self, your intuition, speak up, lay boundaries, say no, and be sovereign. And this is the shift that our whole world is in. The whole world is in, is rather than fighting and battling and placating and trying to change the bad, just upshift and say no. Not my reality, no more. A narcissist in your life trying to mind and exploit you, no. And no means I don't need you. I don't need to roll around in you because I'm upshifting into my power, my manifestations, my understanding in the law of one. I have a whole field available to me of possibility. I don't have to sell my soul to you anymore. I'm not a limited, helpless, dependent being. I'm at one with Source. So this is what I'm talking about. And if enough people in our world did that, tyranny's finished in a heartbeat, because it only has power over you when you say yes to it. So that's my little chat for today. And that's it. I just want to leave you guys with that. And it's been beautiful to hang out with you today in this way. And we'll catch up around the traps as we always do soon. And also, guys, in the Shifts Happen community, I was going to share some stuff about the detox protocols and the things that I've been working with lately. And I was meant to do that, the Q&A, and I forgot. So I'm going to go into our private Facebook groups and I'm going to drop some links in there for you. And I love you all and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.